Hello, my nyctophiliacs. I'm Filia Noctis, the daughter of darkness. Welcome to the Poetry Potluck, where we have a veritable feast for your ears. We have old friends and new friends bringing their best poems just for you. This is part 1 of 3, so sit back, close your eyes, and enjoy the comforts of the poetry.
A soldier's cry is only heard within himself. His worst fears and nightmares have come true. He fights and fights every day, trying to stay alive, and in this struggle, he helps carry away the wounded, as well as the soldiers who have died fighting for their country's freedom. Within his courage and fear, he strays away, wounded himself and shot down by an enemy. A soldier runs to help, and in his sight, sees him fall. Now a prisoner of war, his fight for survival has ended. The faces of his enemies now pound in his head. Every night and every day, the anger of his torture now haunts his memories. The tears that now fall are from the very eyes that watched his buddies die. He lets out an angered cry, and with the stroke of an enemy's hand he falls to the ground. He raised up, as if to say, "You may have won my freedom, but you have not won my country. I may die here as a prisoner of war, but I am proud to know that I served my country and helped give her the freedom she so deserves. Now, I am sick, and probably will die. Now I know what 20 years in captivity can do to a man. I suppose by now our children are no longer asking, 'When is Daddy coming home?' Have our wives' memories faded away, or does love continue to flow within them? We often stop and wonder, the men and I, of 20 years or so if our country has long forgotten us. But somewhere inside of us we know that it is a long and endless battle. As I lay my aching and weary head upon this sandy floor, somewhere inside of me I know I will awake no more.
Heart of the Sea, written by Pixie Styxx, narrated by Filia Noctis. I am in the heart of the sea. Diamonds appear like broken glass to me. Dripping eyes and flooded lungs, sugarcane under the full moon, dappled stars. The world breaks at my feet. My daydreams break, and I am left wondering just who I am. Jinxed words, silver things spilling from numb lips, drawn to what's about to come. Make me undone. Breathe my last, broken glass, diamonds dripping from my eyes.
Absolution by Siegfried Sassoon. Read by Dr. Creepen. The anguish of the earth absolves our eyes, till beauty shines in all that we can see. War is our scourge, yet war has made us wise, and fighting for our freedom, we are free. Horror of wounds and anger at the foe, and loss of things desired, all these must pass. We are the happy legion, for we know time's but a golden wind that shakes the grass. There was an hour when we were loath to part from life we long to share no less than others. Now, having claimed this heritage of heart, what need we more, my comrades and my brothers?
Soul of Joy, Valkyria, by Azazel Codex. Dedicated to Charity Reviews. Broken-hearted, I see the rising dawn, walking through the country fields into town, hoping to spend time with friends, my body chilled with the cold morning air. Bunched up in my thick clothing, snow covers most of the ground. Stepping forward, My world around me slips away as creatures' hands grab my feet, dragging me into the earth and snow. I scream and yell, but no use. I'm pulled into the ground. The light leaves me. Everything changes into darkness. Below me, looking down, I see them. Disgusting goblin beings, floating out from a great dark abyss. Massive and seemingly endless, I'm dragged to it. These beings smile with demonic glee on their distorted faces. I pray out loud, God, please help me. They laugh, snorting in joy at my prayer in total fear, until the darkness surrounding us is broken. A flash of light explodes above us. The light blinds them, now writhing in agony. But not me. I look up and see her, one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen. Long flowing red hair, fair complexion, with piercing eyes blue as the ocean. Thinking, she floating like me. I then saw her wings, almost larger than her, fully deployed, her body clad in majestic silver armor, a sword in one hand, flying with great speed towards me, her other hand outstretched. I hear her in my mind.
Take my hand,
She says. Feeling at peace, I grab her hand. She grabs me, flying us both out of the darkness into the light of day. I suddenly wake up in the snow. She's standing above me, asking,
if I'm alright. I was walking into town and saw you fall down after tripping.
she tells me. With the morning and sun, I'm healed. I dreamed of a last fight of my inner demons. And I realize I woke up to see her come to my aid. We laugh. And she walks with me into town. She is my miracle. My new love. My Valkyria.
Resilient in the beginning to the demons that seed with whisper. We ignore them because they are commanded to grow hate within the listener. You cannot succeed. They hate you for all that you are. If it wasn't for you, they could have soared beyond the stars. The demons, they speak with what hurts you the most, using your loved ones like frightening, relentless ghosts. You make them suffer by existing, and you know that it's true. Their existence would be much better if it hadn't been for you. Now the demons you've been ignoring in your head have been gaining your attention and begin filling it with dread. You cannot disprove all of everything they say. A nugget of truth is all that's needed to torment you with their play. You've been preoccupied with the whispers of hate that now worm through your mind. Are they all against me? You will wonder in due time. Another opportunity to break from the loneliness and despair, to build something better than a life of demons whispering evil in your ear. Alas, life does not always work out as it should. Two drift apart willingly until they know that it's for good. Another lost chance that the demons will certainly use. You are worthless in this life. What do you have to lose? You could end all the pain. There would be nothing left. We will teach you the knot that will do you in the best. The knot will allow you to escape from life's constant torment. That tree looks good. You could be a Christmas ornament. You ignore once again this whispering, nagging force, although by now it's a bit louder and a bit more hoarse. Maybe it was fate that found you that new best friend. A small friendly puppy with floppy ears had saved you then. As the pup grew, the adventures began with walks and runs. Through the woods and fields, at the pond in the cascading sun. You knew little about pets, your first admittedly. Your temperament not good for a little one to see. Yet love was a friend that you knew you would protect against a bear or a giant. You'd never relent. Years had gone by, and you loved this canine the most, until more than one incident would separate you both. More your fault than his, in fact, as you hadn't been a trainer. But happened nonetheless, and you were the one truly to blame here. Your friend took the shot that was rightfully meant for you. You held him in your arms. As tears spilled down your face, you knew it was true. So your friend gone now, but always in your memory, continuing to protect you in times much like these. Still you feel the call, the whisper of those that wish you dead. Yet it's all drowned out, because when you listen you hear instead the barking of a happy friend walking through the wood, chasing birds and squirrels with glee, or looking confused if they just stood. I'll never trade those days, because there's nothing that's that good.
He Who Waits. Written by the Baron, even if he is a shoddy poet. Narrated by the Baron. The day is done, your rest is earned. Take comfort in your bed. Remember well all those who spurned what the tales and stories said. For most know, but pay no heed to their fragile sleeping state. So frequent is this human need, and how rare that grisly fate. Each night we play a lottery. We roll the dice and pray that we won't be the coterie which keeps the beast at bay. He waits just on the edge of sleep, obsidian glint of knowledge deep. The covenant was signed and sealed, a life each night required. Obscured in deceit's vast wield, he traps extra as desired. He offers wisdom as his bait, the truth of life and sorrow. But most decline, not tempting fate, scarce memory on the morrow. Make haste from that precipice, carry on to slumber. Don't chance the hungry nemesis your soul would not encumber. He waits just on the edge of sleep, an offering a price too steep. For those few who pass his test, whatever it may be, as surely as the sun moves west, his acolytes can see deliverance from hope's soft chains, grimly twisted and perverse. Joy is gone, but truth remains, a boon of Thalia in verse. Great success the blessed enjoy, they rule above the meek. The rest are his to keep, destroy those thousands who power seek. He waits just on the edge of sleep, sings lullabies as mourners weep. For those who fail, it is not known exactly how they meet their end. Torture is to each their own, though theories still contend. The morning finds a shriveled husk swaddled in their sheets. Our apex stature ends at dusk, when he who waits competes. That visitor of nightly woe etched this silent scream, and from that seed terror sow in fields of endless dream. He waits just on the edge of sleep. The crop of man is his to reap.
I Am by John Clare. I am, yet what I am none cares or knows. My friends forsake me like a memory lost. I am the self-consumer of my woes. They rise and vanish in oblivious host, like shades in love and death's oblivion lost. And yet I am, and live with shadows tossed into the nothingness of scorn and noise, into the living sea of waking dreams, where there is neither sense of life nor joys, but the vast shipwreck of my life's esteems. And e'en the dearest that I loved the best are strange, nay, rather stranger than the rest. I long for scenes where man has never trod, a place where woman never smiled or wept, there to abide with my Creator God, and sleep as I in childhood sweetly slept, untroubling and untroubled where I lie, the grass below, above the vaulted sky.
This poem is titled The Montease, and is both written and narrated by Timothy Duran. Ink as it soaks into my pen and drips down onto my page. I count in my head to 10, hoping that I will finish the next stage. Listening to the clock as the hour strikes 10, I hear the nightbird squawk and wonder when I will have to write again. As I scribble and write in pain these words onto this paper, I feel my own life drain, like the soil beneath a caper, the words soaking my life's essence as they flow onto the page, the phrases joining in coalescence as my entire self with age. For if not another stage I shall need to continue next, I shall need to write another page of something even more complex. With a flex of my wrist and the end of another statement, I wince as my tendons twist and cry out in lament. For I wish I had not chosen to take that man's offer, after removing seeds in time frozen from an old wooden coffer. Take from me these seeds and plant them in your garden. Remove the fruit when they shine like beads and the shells darken and harden. Take the fruit from the plant and crush the fruit in seed. For the ink it forms shall grant you all the ink you will ever need. And so I did as I was told. I grew the plants from the seed. As soon as the ink was made, I was sold. I had all the ink I would ever need. I was told legends of this ink, that it would bring inspiration and wit, but now I am beginning to think that this ink will not allow me to quit. Since I have sat at my desk, I have been unable to move. As I labor on, my pain now grotesque, and have become unable to leave this groove. I feel trapped within this space. As I write more words onto this page, the ink in my mind forms a hideous face and has me locked within a cage. The monster that is the Muse has taken a hold of me. With its steel grip, I doubt it shall refuse to set me free. The Montease is what it calls itself, demanding I write more on each page as it reaches for more pens from my shelf to write out another stage, another scene, another set. My quest to seek the ink for this page has filled me with regret, but I must write, lest I fill the Montease with rage. The Montease is a beast that resides within the darkest corners where it resides. As it grasps at your pen and grasps at your skin, it blurs the line that fiction and reality divides. The Montease cannot be contained. Its hunger is insatiable. My words are blood-stained. Its grasp is inescapable. My muse, my projection is now inescapable. My cries for help are silent. My words are unattainable, for my death shall be soon, and it shall be violent. My quest for inspiration has left me in desperation. The Montease demands from me forevermore. My mind and body call for death with flirtation. My hands capable of writing nevermore.
Chaps and chapettes, I'd like to present a peculiar creature known as the Little Gent. You'll learn of this fellow and his odd unique way, but just what he is quite hard to say. Is he a goblin, a fairy or sprite? I just cannot figure, though try as I might. For you see he appears to only the young, from whom come his stories and songs to be sung. Of his behaviour his legend regales, and here we shall find the sordid details. As we all know, children can be a task, a struggle to teach, depends who you ask. You try to give structure and lay down some rules, but children prefer to act purely as fools. Like small feral beasts, they scream and they shout, making a mess, leaving muck all about, causing a ruckus from wanting to play, and that's when the gent does enter the fray. It starts off the same as they all have before. He makes his entrance with a knock on the door. If a parent does answer, they'll find no one there, for only the children can be made aware. Away in a room where the children do play, the odd little creature does cheerfully stray. A blackened wee suit of expensive design, cufflinks, a tie, and shoes that do shine. A smart bowler hat does rest on his head, spotless and ordered, not a single loose thread. The rest of his features are a little more strange, the shapes and the sizes come in quite the range. Large pointed ears which bend at his hat, sharp little teeth like that of a cat. A snub-rounded nose which is prone to whistle, deep violet eyes like that of a thistle. Hands with long fingers, of which some have rings, they shine in the light as such precious things. Big funny feet that fit his shoes well. He might have a tail, though it is hard to tell. His manners and charm he cannot conceal, and arrives at a home with a trunk at his heel. However he moves it, we really don't know, but wherever his course, the trunk it does go. It serves many causes, much to the gent's pleasure, a fitting container for business and leisure. Now business, that's it, for when the parents are gone, the gent can then focus on each little one. For when they are alone and in partial confinement, the work does begin on the children's refinement. A new education, one that's first class, with standards and tests that each one must pass. He'll work on their language and how they do speak, a polite and strong voice, for one cannot sound weak. The clothes that they wear, and just how to dress, so no matter the function, they're sure to impress. How they must walk, with hands at their side, a purposeful step filled with presence and pride. They'll run through these drills and what they have learned until they graduate and their freedom is earned. But then there are those who don't want to learn, and such behaviour the gent he does spurn. The rude rejection of what he's dictated, failure and insolence will not be tolerated. A disappointed temper will quickly replace his charm and good manner, now struck from his face. Any children that behaved will be spared of his ire, a show of mercy just perhaps, though the rest is rather dire. Somehow, without knowing, they find themselves astray. The gent has made them leave the room in some mystifying way. But what's more unto their fear,
within those who have been saved, as they have now been set apart from those who misbehaved. They might just try to find them to enter in the room, or call out for their elders to save the others from their doom. The slamming of his trunk will be the final sound. No matter what the parents do, the children won't be found. The room it shall be empty, not one sign anywhere, as if they had just disappeared and right out of the air. Wherever they've gone, and however they went, only one person knows, that odd little gent.
Hyde's Perfect Crime by Mr. Hyde. It's after midnight. It's almost time. I'm going to get away with the perfect crime. Into the shadows I will creep. I will climb in your window while you sleep. You look so pretty upon your bed. In the morning you'll be dead. Your blood will drip a dark red stream as you die without a scream. Your head will roll into a puddle of red. You'll dream your last lying on your bed. After my pleasure I will leave into the shadows, you better believe, and in the morning they'll never find your head. As you lie dead upon your bed, I'm going to get away with a perfect crime.
Hey everybody, Scream With Me Stories here. I submitted 2 poems that I wrote myself for this potluck. The first being called Free Reign. It was originally written back in 2008 and then reworked into what it is today in 2014. It was originally a song about an abusive relationship, which took a turn and ended up being a song about what I would feel if I was being possessed by an evil entity. And the second is called Why Am I So? It's essentially a poem about growing up and being told that some of your childish dreams are no longer meaningful in the real world. Enjoy, and there's more to come.
You're a sick puppeteer. You've tainted my life. Judgment calls, let the curtains fall. Their minds are set, let's give them what they want. Give them all a show, give them all a show. You used my body, you stretched my limbs. Bones were cut. You've taken my soul. You've strung my veins and fade away. I hear you chanting, live for me, live for me.
Why am I so? Why am I so frustrated? Why can't I accept the current path, the current flow, the current train of thought? Why am I so stubborn? Why can't I accept my dreams are just dreams and nothing more but a dream? Why am I so drawn to the past? Am I afraid of letting go because if I let go, I've lost my place, I've lost the time, I've lost you? So is this life? What do I do? What do I do if I'm lost? Should I kick? Should I scream? Can you hear me? Can you help me?
This is CheckMate by PA Nightmares. You try to keep me down, push me down, belittle me with every word. I see 10 moves ahead of you, while you only see what's in front of you. I'll play chess, you'll play checkers. I was looking for a battle of wits, but you're just a nitwit that's been unarmed. I live my life with a purpose, you live without a purpose. This is my life, and it's CheckMate. I know what I want, and it's not you. You're just a footnote to me. CheckMate. This is the end of the road for you. You are nothing to me anymore. I'm gonna rule the world, while all you're gonna do is lose yours. But you can never escape, because this is CheckMate.
This is Muse of Muse's Modern Dreadfuls, and I will be performing a poem called Drink Your Coffee, Dear by Bunny B03. The mornings are long and the nights are short. My good intentions are met with a hateful snort. I've made some coffee, dear. The children are wild, yet you stay asleep. I'm locked away, your prize to keep. I've made some coffee, dear. My spirit more alive than you allow. I have to get us out somehow. I've made some coffee, dear. Foundation covers the bruises you've brought. Road maps of scars from where we've fought. I've made some coffee, dear. You've ruined our daughter's opinion of men. Up she will grow, not to trust again. I've made some coffee, dear. You make the money, so you say you'd get the kids. Visions of your abuse dance behind our eyelids. I've made some coffee, dear. You allow me no friends, no family to talk to. My darling sweetheart, if you only knew. I've made some coffee, dear. I want to fly, but you've cut my wings. You indulge in all of your silly flings. I've made some coffee, dear. I stand to leave, beaten, battered, and low. Your hand a vice on my neck as I try to go. I've made some coffee, dear. You scream at the children, I hold them close. I protect them from your hateful blows. I've made some coffee, dear. Our eyes not allowed to cry. Your mouth always telling a lie. I've made some coffee, dear. All of us under your control, oppression being your main goal. I've made some coffee, dear. You tear us down and keep us there. No other marriage that can compare. I've made some coffee, dear. I thought you'd want the best for us. You only wanted the best of us. I've made some coffee, dear. There is no love in the way we mate. You thrust into me, I feel the hate. I've made some coffee, dear. Every morning I paste on a smile. I try my best to love you all the while. I've made some coffee, dear. Your cold breakfast sits on the table. Our new life starts as soon as we're able. I've made some coffee, dear. Ground up ricin, a tasteless bean. You like your coffee, strong, black, and mean. I've made your coffee, dear. It's hard to acquire, but easy to use. I will free myself from these years of abuse. I've made some coffee, dear. A helpless victim used to be where I once stood. A warrior now in our house in the wood. I've made some coffee, dear. We will step over you on our way out the door. I won't let them see their daddy laying on the floor. I made you coffee, dear. I'm smarter than you think I am. Never again a door will you slam. Drink your coffee, dear.
Untitled. Written by Pixie Styxx. Narrated by Teestache. Scorn from above, we live more than once. As torchlights rush, in the end you know the life we live lays out on a grid. Pointed peaks, gentle curves, downward we spin. As I look upon my future self, I see a new kind of hell. The parts I've tried to save are now the ones I've excised. In all our hopes and sacrifice, I see your dying light. With one last gasp and a late embrace, the last breath you took is the breath I now take.
The Shadows of the Towers, written by Creepy Clown Girl, narrated by Filia Noctis. On one of our darkest days, we would watch shadows fall from the tallest towers. No matter where we were, we watched as planes hit buildings and some even fell from the sky. Even though none of us saw each other's faces, the fact still remains that we all heard those ghostly screams from the terror that had befallen us. One by one, strangers near and far would answer the call, joining together to pull victims from crumbling walls. Voices would echo from emergency calls. from those aboard their final flights, leaving behind those forever traumatized by what they had heard. As the lines go dead, a silence falls upon the room, only broken by the sobbing faces of those who heard the final pleas from those they knew they couldn't save. As the smoke cleared and the days would come to pass, America would raise its anger against the devil's mass. The tragedy of that day has now forever been written within the darkest pages of time, leaving behind names carved within its tattered vines.
This is Dark and Light, written by PA Nightmares. Life has nothing more to offer me, or so I think. I look around and see nothing but pain and misery. Nothing ever goes right, and before my own sight, life has become nothing but a blight. Depression every day, from the time I get up to the time I lay down. Anxiety hits every single moment of the day. I wonder, am I doing anything right? Or is this just another pointless fight? I just want to die most of the time, but never once can I speak my own mind. Because if I do, they would lock me away in just another padded room. But from the shadow of despair and hatred, something else emerges from the dust. I find myself surrounded by friends and loved ones. I found writing as a tool to keep the darkness at bay. My church and faith grow stronger every day. This new outlook on life has awakened something deep inside of me I thought long dead. Hope and the urge to fight for life, for change. I want to see the light of the new day and to live this new life my way.
Written by Pixie Styxx. Narrated by the Baron. I'll carry your chains so you can feel freedom and a little less pain. If the poison burns your blood, I'll drink the venom out of the cut. So just hold on tight. I'll be coming. Every night I'll be burning. I will back you up. I will show you love. I will give you all I got till I cannot. Hold on tight. I'm breathing for you. One last time.
The title of this poem is Sin, and it is both written and narrated by Timothy Duran. Pain, purgatory, penance for a pension, to ease the worry and strife of those plagued by many a transgression, both your allies and your foes, plagued by the convention of peace, torn to threads by the remnants of war, eras of bloodlines to arise and then cease, as the prophets proclaim of the forbidden horror. Lust swallows and consumes the masses. Sexuality and sensuality become blind attachments. As the pleasure rises, life begins to burn to ashes, leaving nothing but ripped flesh and broken fragments. Greed consumes not the flesh, but the heart, both in the soul of man as seas of blood part, the taste of money tinged with a metallic tart, as the coldness of it buries life before it can start. Sloth paints a picture of peace and slumber, as the winds of the night carry your soul away. But when one stays forever, they become a number, one of many whose lack of action has a price to pay. Wrath that tears apart families and societies is often accompanied by the highest of impropriety, as the heart and soul harden, consuming the diocese, destroying the temples with a harsh sobriety. Gluttony as the herd consumes more than it needs, tainted by the darkness as it takes root through the seeds of damnation, calloused the darkness breeds, until the damned are what the darkness feasts upon and feeds. Pride of those unwilling to accept the collapse, societal ashes blanketing the skies, Those who are unwilling to accept society's lapse shall be left alone with the echoes of lost cries. Pain, purgatory, penance for a pension, to confide within the souls that remain without mention, as the last strings of humanity tear beneath the tension. Sin swallows all who do not repent and ask for ascension. The intent of the Father was to save. His judgment is not lax but pensive, but understood the pain that would follow, as his creation sought out the presence of the obscene, the offensive, tainted by the juice of the forbidden fruit, snatched from the grasp of love at first hand, darkness as it faced off in the greatest dispute, while the prophecy had already been planned. Sin consumed all of who are not well acquainted. The end of everything shall be sooner to come. Without the blessing of the Father, their souls remain tainted, and their cries will be crushed under thumb with a hum.
Tick. Written by Reddit user iBowties and Fezzes. Narrated by Spookyou. My brother's funeral felt surreal to me. Frankly, I never thought I'd outlive him. Charlie was faster, stronger, and wealthier than I'd ever be. He was the true man of the family, despite the fact that I was older. Yet, here he was, being buried after hanging himself. And I'm still breathing. After the funeral, the undertaker gave me an envelope addressed to me from Charlie. I opened it, and there was a letter which read, "Kiefer, I'm sorry I have to give this to you, but someone in the family has to have it. Try to endure. Charlie." Wrapped within the letter was a bronze pocket watch with the initials QZ for our grandfather, Quentin Zimmerman. Our grandfather always carried around that pocket watch. He died years ago. Charlie was 15 and I was 17. He'd bequeathed the pocket watch to Charlie, saying it was because he had the heart of a true man. I'd been bitter at first, but a sea of more relevant failures in my life made me forget about it. Until now. At 37 years old, I held it in my hands, admiring the cursive of the initials. But the bronze chilled my hands with a bitter cold that I didn't expect. I flipped open the watch, and that's when it began. The ticking. Instead of a traditional clock with the numbers 1 through 12 on it, there were only 2 times. Life at the 1 o'clock position, and death at the 12 o'clock position. The minute and hour hands, both pointed towards death, began to spin, and they landed at the 6:30 position. The second hand ticked. Each breath I took, I heard it. Every step forward. I closed the watch, but the ticking still continued. I put it in my pocket, but it persisted, just as clear as when it was open. Each tick filled me with the apprehension of knowing the Grim Reaper was looking over my shoulder, getting closer with each movement of that damn second hand. I wanted to scream, throw the pocket watch away, but a sense of obligation to my grandfather and Charlie held me back. There was a moment on his deathbed that I'd sworn my grandfather looked relieved, like he was finally going to be free of a burden. Finally, a respite from this horrid ticking, Charlie probably thought, as the noose tightened around his neck. Charlie said to endure, but I'm half the man he was. If he couldn't hold out, how could I? cry of agony escaped my lips, and it seemed like the world had gone silent as I roared until my voice went hoarse. I thought about my grandfather. I thought about Charlie. I screamed and screamed, trying to get the shadow of death that haunted this watch to somehow leave me alone. But even my screams couldn't drown out the sound. The time on the watch now read 8:45.
Trying to keep it all inside, you die 1,000 deaths and 1,000 more, just to be someone you're not. Trying to be what you need through a silent scream. Open my mouth, all that comes is white noise. I'm watching for you to be okay. Suffocating, dying, breathing, for you to finally be okay. And not let anyone or thing hold you back. Brand new face on your pillowcase. Close the blinds. Hiding, but I still see everything. Sick of the static voices, sick of the lies, sick of me. Trying not to crumble, trying to be strong and hold it all in. I'm screaming for us. It's not enough. I'm trying to be enough, just what you need. But in the end, I am not me.
This is Why Can't You See Me by PA Nightmares. I scream with all of my breath, trying to be seen, but it's nothing more than a whisper in the void. Lost in the dark, nothing to be seen, and no one to see me. However, the darkness is just inside of me, because this world is just so bright. In a sea of light, I am always just out of sight. No one ever chooses to think of me. I am worse than average, for there is nothing special about me. I am the last to know anything of import. I am always chosen last in my group of friends that say they care for me, for there is nothing special about me, and I am less than average. The world is twisted, painful, and dark. Unfortunately, there is no other place that I can embark. This journey is just mine, and mine alone, but I continue to be tossed aside, for there is always someone better than me.
The Soldier by Rupert Brooke. Read by Dr. Creepen. If I should die, think only this of me, that there's some corner of a foreign field that is forever England. There shall be in that rich earth a richer dust concealed, dust whom England bore, shaped, made aware, gave once her flowers to love, her ways to roam, a body of England's breathing English air, washed by the rivers, blessed by sons of home. And think, this heart, all evil shed away, a pulse in the eternal mind no less, give somewhere back the thoughts by England given, her sights and sounds, dreams happy as her day, and laughter learnt of friends, and gentleness in hearts at peace under an English heaven. Yeah, these are pretty special to me, so I hope I'm doing them justice, to be honest.
The title of this poem is Shut the Exit, and it is both written and narrated by Timothy Duran. Tenderness both as a kiss between lips and a rap against the flesh, I find myself swarming with thoughts as to which form I could withstand the best. How long can I withstand this standing ache as I peel back the layers that lie beneath what I try to acknowledge as myself as a noose decorates me like a wreath? For this noose is not mine, nor is it something of my making. My love, once held so dear, you are the one, deeply in pleasure taking. Life, once pure and untainted, my gasping breaths carry my essence, slowly drowned within yours. I cannot seem to escape your presence. Our glass, once holding great passions, has now turned a sour note. I struggle to meet your fancies, and gasp as I try to float. The room in which we reside, as I lay down turning to my side, I feel your touch, unable to hide, as you grasp at me, and I swallow my pride. Sinking deeper into this pool of poison, feeling myself sinking deep, I wonder if I had been chosen to be just another soul to reap. Am I your true lover? I mutter, unable to find an answer. I shudder as I stutter. Or am I just another lover? Your heartbeat feels distant, while I remain beneath these sheets smothered. Am I good enough for you? I mutter again, my mind remaining cluttered. Your voice, once smooth as butter, once capable of making my heart flutter, now reminds me of my fears, my doubts, and frightens me more than I could utter. Do you love me? I ask again, hoping to avoid another reprimand. What is my crime? My transgression? I know not how much more I can withstand. What have I done to deserve this? What is my latest blunder? It always seemed like my love, my life, was something for them to plunder. I keep making excuses. I feel so worthless, so useless, while the one I used to love punishes me. You are truly ruthless. Your fangs sink deep into me, piercing my veins hard and scathing, soaked in my own blood, bathing, crying to myself as I hear your ranting, raving. I could not deny that I needed saving. A bottle of spirits couldn't lift my spirit. My mind and body are full of weakness. I dread our meeting, your next visit. I tremble at your feet through the bleakness. I was struck again. As the hour struck 10, a door opened to the room with light at the end. A new page in our story had been written. I was unsure if this was something I could pretend. Why would someone like me deserve this? Why would I endure so much pain for so little bliss? I gazed out at the exit, wondering if it would last. How could I forgive myself of my past? I was not the best partner. I could not have been softer. I should have worked so much harder. I should have taken us farther. I am not deserving to be free. I am deserving of this hell some more. I am a product of this poison. You must close the door. I deserve to stay here, left to endure this pain. Perhaps one day I shall leave when the door opens again.
The Sleeper, Edgar Allan Poe. At midnight, in the month of June, I stand beneath the mystic moon. An opiate vapor, dewy, dim, exhales from out her golden rim, and softly dripping, drop by drop, upon the quiet mountaintop, steals drowsily and musically into the universal valley. The rosemary nods upon the grave, the lily lull upon the wave. Wrapping the fog about its breast, the ruin moulders into rest, looking like lathe, see? The lake a conscious slumber seems to take, and would not for the world awake. All beauty sleeps, and lo, where lies her easement open to the skies, Irene with her destinies. Oh, lady bright, can it be right, this window open to the night? The wanton airs from the treetop, laughing through the lattice drop. The bodiless airs a wizard rout, flit through thy chamber in and out, and wave the curtain canopy, so fitfully, so fearfully, above the closed and fringed lid, 'neath which thy slumbering should lie, hid, that o'er the floor and down the wall, like ghosts the shadows rise and fall. O lady dear, hast thou no fear? Why and what art thou dreaming here? Sure thou art come per far-off seas, a wonder to these garden trees. Strange is thy pallor, strange thy dress, strange, above all, thy length of tress, and this all solemn stillness. The lady sleeps, oh may her sleep, which is enduring so deep. Heaven have her in its sacred keep. This chamber changed for one more holy, this bed for one more melancholy. I pray to God that she may lie forever with unopened eye, while the dim-sheeted ghosts go by. My love, she sleeps. Oh, may her sleep, as it is lasting, be so deep. Soft may the worms about her creep, far in the forest dim and old. For her may some tall vault unfold, some vault that oft hath flung its black and winged panels fluttering back, triumphant over the crested pall of her grand family funerals, some sepulchre remote alone, against whose portal she has thrown in childhood many an idle stone, some tomb from out whose sounding door she ne'er shall force an echo more. Thrilling to think, poor child of sin, it was the dead who groaned within. So, this raven.
Red Tide, a poem by Reaper's Horror. It is said that it is better to know truth than it is to hold to a fantasy. To believe this is to accept the logical, but to act upon love with logic is to remove the curtain of illusion that protects the eyes from the pains of reality. When standing before the ocean of truth, do not bathe in its murky depths. The truth will set you free of emotion, free of feeling, free of all but sorrow. Its waters strip the body of its flesh, leaving men naked of all but bone. Riddled with corpses, the shore stands as final reminder to those that dare to drink of its red tide.
Body of Pain, Liberate Me, by Azazel Codex. As the sun comes up, looking on through the days, the emptiness in me grows. Day by day, I try and endure, but the only certain tomorrow I know is misery. The light repulses me. I hate others' happiness. The darkness is my only salvation. I sleep well in his presence. God, please save me, but in the end I know you won't. Joy is not my destiny, only pain and sorrow. Looking at myself in the mirror, I wonder when will I die? When will this all be over? So, to all you, I say, as this person stands over me, stabbing me over and over, the pain he inflicts on me is balanced only by my joy. Joy that God did save me by giving me this blessed death. There's pain when we're born. So, there is pain in death. The man looks at me, his rage fades, with a disturbed look. As I smile, bleeding on the floor, happily dying, whispering, "Thank you."
Thank you for joining me in this potluck of poetry. I'll see you again in part 3. In the meantime, don't forget to click the like button and subscribe to all of the content creators. And if you're feeling especially kind, please share this video and the other 2 on social media. Creepy Clown Girl and I would like to personally thank everyone who participated, the writers and the narrators. You have all done an amazing job.